Formula One returns to South Africa for the first time since 1985. But Kyalami is a much revised and modernised circuit.
7 years ago, on the old circuit, Nigel Mansell scored his second ever Grand Prix win in a dominant style. It was a prelude to 2 years in which Mansell came very close to winning the world title, but never quite managed it. But he remained a very popular man in South Africa, and the country was quick to revive its keen interest in Formula One.
This display here today, you can see the crowds outside. The interest is there, and where you have the interest and the support from the public, the gladiators come forward.
Qualifying was an interesting affair, with some novices like the Italian lady Giovanna Amati and her Brabham struggling for most of the time. Nigel Mansell, on the other hand, was in devastating form. Right from the start of the weekend, he dominated qualifying, losing no time in showing everybody that he and his Renault-powered Williams were going to be the force to beat this year.
He completely dominated both sessions and beat the world champion Ayrton Senna comfortably to take the 18th pole position of his career.
On this Kyalami circuit, Mansell knew that the first start of the season would be all-important. At the green light, he out-sprinted Senna into the first corner to take the lead, exactly as he did 7 years ago. For Senna, the writing was on the wall when Riccardo Patrese and the other Williams pushed his way through to second place, and together with Mansell, started to vanish into the distance. First lap brought more drama when Martin Brundle's Benetton touched Andrea de Cesaris's Tyrrell and spun. Brundle restarted, but retired soon after with a broken clutch. Ferrari's season started dismally, with first Ivan Capelli and then Jean Alesi retiring with engine problems. By that time, Mansell's lead over Patrese and Senna was more than 20 seconds, and he was busy lapping slower cars, supported avidly by the fans. Behind the leading trio, the young German Michael Schumacher, driving his 7th Grand Prix in a Benetton, drove steadily to finish 4th. Lotus driver Johnny Herbert scored his best result in 3 years, finishing a very promising 6th. So after the potential of the previous year, it was a perfect 1-2 for the Williams team.
Mansell was never really threatened, and Patrese successfully fended off Senna's challenge to finish 10 seconds ahead of the Brazilian.
It was a question of pushing very hard and trying to build up a little bit of a gap and then managing it. Ayrton was pressuring Riccardo obviously halfway through the race because I was pushing quite hard later on and was not going away. And then it was just a question of trying to have a bit of spare time with the traffic, but the traffic was pretty good.
3 weeks later, Formula One crossed the Atlantic and came to Mexico City. Nigel Mansell made an early inspection of the track, giving his thoughts on the Peraltada corner.
And because it's such a fast corner, it's going to make it mighty dangerous, because if you get on the marbles, then you're in 5th or 6th gear. You know, your history, you're going to go off.
Mansell survived this nasty moment, but he was open in his criticism of the track.
The bumps are terrible, and you're fighting for control all the time, and I mean, it's not nice feeling because it's an accident waiting to happen all the time.
Indeed, Senna, who had a major accident here in '91, hit the bump on Friday and lost control. The Brazilian was in considerable pain from an injured leg. However, he would be fit enough to drive again on Saturday, on his 32nd birthday, and qualify a brave 6th on the grid. His role of being the main threat to the Williamses was taken on by Benetton and by Michael Schumacher. The team were delighted, and Michael's confidence rose with every lap he drove.
Mansell took pole position once again, but this time Patrese was just fractionally slower, and Schumacher was less than a second adrift.
With the Englishman having won here 5 years ago, but being beaten by Patrese fair and square in 1991 after a big battle, the race seemed wide open. At the start, however, Mansell pulled away clearly. But in the midfield, chaos reigned as Karl Wendlinger hit Capelli's Ferrari and sent him into the wall. Mansell led into the first corner, and all Patrese could do was watch the tail of the other Williams once again. Capelli, meanwhile, was eager to get back to his pit, as Wendlinger paid a little more attention to the march. Mansell led Patrese, Senna and Brundle. Schumacher recovered from a bad start by forcing Berger out of 5th spot. The German would soon pass Brundle for 4th. And it became 3rd place when Senna's transmission broke on the 12th lap. For more than half of the race, Berger and Brundle bitterly disputed 4th place. The Englishman was in truly inspired mood. And a spectating Senna found it all rather amusing. But Ferrari's star Jean Alesi found the lack of his car's straight-line speed appalling when De Cesaris easily passed him on lap 30. The Frenchman's engine would expire 2 laps later. And the same thing happened to a frustrated Martin Brundle 20 laps from home. But it was no problems for Mansell, apart from a smashed mirror, and he easily scored his 2nd win of the year.
He eased off towards the end, allowing Patrese to come closer, while Schumacher stepped on the winner's podium for the first time. And he adapted well to the role, proving a tough man with the champagne. But after the race, most had only one question in mind.
It looked fairly easy, was it? No, it wasn't.